So, have you ever scrolled through Instagram and then suddenly felt like you were just behind in life? Like everyone's engaged or buying a house or launching their dream business, and you're literally just trying to remember what day of the week it is because, yeah, same. Welcome to Rise with Katie Marie. Think of this podcast like sitting down with a friend where we talk about healing, self-discovery, and stepping into the highest version of yourself. I'm Katie, your host and friend on this journey. Together, we'll talk about all the messy and beautiful parts of life, from heartbreak to healing, self-doubt to self-love, and everything in between. If you're looking for a cozy space to feel seen, heard, and inspired, you're in the right place. So, grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and let's rise together. Welcome back to another episode of Rise with Katie Marie. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making my first week of podcast episodes so special. Thank you to everybody who sent sweet messages and reposted and shared or left a review or subscribed. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here and coming along this journey with me. It's been an incredible launch to the podcast, and I'm very excited to see where this little passion project goes. And I have a really exciting episode for you guys today also that I'm excited to jump into in a second, but I just wanted to come on here and say thank you to everybody that has supported so far, and I hope you're enjoying the show. I know I only have a couple episodes up. There will be plenty more to come, and I will be doing video soon as well. For right now, we're still on audio, but eventually we will be having some video components as well. So again, just thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the show, and we have a very exciting topic to discuss today. Today's episode, as you can tell by the title, is You Are Not Behind and How to Trust the Timing of Your Life. This topic is very important to me. It's one near and dear to my heart. And the reason that I decided to talk about this was actually because I had a post that I had posted a while back. It was a quick little video with a quote over top of it talking about how there's so many exciting things to look forward to in life, and you're not behind if you feel like you need to be a certain place or you're a certain age or you're watching your friends go through different eras of their life and you feel behind, to let you know that you're not behind, and everybody has their own timeline, their own schedule. And I know this can be a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially as we get older, especially when you get into your 30s. There's a lot of pressure to have a lot of things by a certain age. And we're going to talk about all that today. So go grab a snack, grab a little coffee, something cozy, something warm. If you like matcha, grab a matcha. Whatever your beverage or cozy comfort food of choice is, grab it, get cozy, and let's dive into it. So, have you ever scrolled through Instagram and then suddenly felt like you were just behind in life? Like everyone's engaged or buying a house or launching their dream business, and you're literally just trying to remember what day of the week it is because, yeah, same. We've been fed this idea for so long that, we have to be on this perfect timeline, and if we're not keeping up, we're failing. And the pressure that comes with that is a lot. And especially in an environment where social media is such a prevalent thing in our lives, you are so prone to comparison, and you're prone to looking at somebody's Instagram page and being like, oh, I wish I had what they had, or, I wish I found my person by now, or I wish I had a kid by now. Like everybody has their thing that they had hoped they would have by now. And when you don't, it's easy to get wrapped up in that, just feeling behind, like feeling like you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve by a certain time frame. And I am here to tell you that timelines are bullshit, and we are going to hopefully change your opinion on that by the end of the show, because you are exactly where you need to be. And there is no set time frame for what you need to achieve by what age or what date. And where you are right now in your life is exactly where you're meant to be. And I know that can be a really hard thing for people to understand and to grasp. And sometimes I battle with that myself too. But yeah, I'm just here to let you guys know that you're not alone on that journey, and there's so many beautiful things to be excited about instead of just living in a state of lack. Now for context here, I am 32 almost. I'm turning 32 in July. Oh my God. Yes, I'm a Leo queen, if it's not obvious by now. But yeah, no, I'm turning 32 this year. And I remember feeling a lot of emotions when I was approaching the big 30. And I went through all those weird, like, grieving moments where I was like, I feel like my life is over. I feel like I'm ahead in so many ways. And like, I have a lot of beautiful things in my life and I have a lot of success. But there's so many other things in my life that I feel like I haven't achieved yet that I thought I would by now. And if you were to ask me, if you were to ask me back in probably like high school, like when I was like early 20s or late teens, if you were to ask me like what my 20s would look like, I had it all mapped out. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be married by like 24, 25, maybe think about like having a family by like 27, 28, maybe, like, I don't know. And like, I at least thought I'd for sure be married by 25. And yeah, plot twist, that did not happen. And hindsight, looking back, I had the most success with my business and with everything else that happened in my life, like in my late 20s. And if I went the route of getting married and settling down and doing all that early, like I had planned on doing when I was younger, I would not be where I am today. And it's just so weird how you think you want something by a certain age, and then when it doesn't happen, you feel very behind and you feel very, like sad that it's not happening and it's happening for everybody else, but it's not happening for me. And when you actually sit there and think about it, it's like, God, like I'm so glad that it didn't happen that way. And, we all have our own timelines. And sometimes when something goes wrong or it doesn't go to plan, there's a way better plan waiting for you on the other side. You just can't see it yet. And for me, I had a relationship way back, and it was a serious one. We had a house together and everything. And, we were just on different timelines. Like he wanted to settle down and do that family life and have that, he wanted that life back then. And I wasn't ready. My career had just picked up. It was just blowing up. Like I had just started doing photography. It was like my early days of like getting all my clients coming in. And I'm like, oh my God, like I think this is going to become a really big thing. And I feel this drive that I need to like run with it. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, I think photography is going to be really big. And, that's kind of why things ended. Like we weren't aligned, like life path, right? Like it's just, he was ready for that then and I wasn't. And that's kind of what happened with that. And hindsight, I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that it happened that way, because look where I am now. Look what I have. My business, my career has been the biggest blessing to me in so many ways. And I'm so happy and I'm so fulfilled with what I do. And I love my job so much. And I love being my own boss and being an entrepreneur and being able to have left my government job that I was at for years and be able to work for myself now. And that's because I chose this path, right? And back then I thought I wanted something, but it turned out I didn't actually want that when I had it. And I just think the universe is always aligning things for us behind the scenes. And again, you might not know it in the moment, but everything is always working out in your favor. And you need to just relinquish control, and you need to trust the journey and know that whatever is meant for you is on its way to you. And you might have to lose a couple other things in the process, but whatever is coming in to replace what you've lost is going to be 1,000 times better. And it'll be the biggest blessing in disguise for you. And another great example would be the pandemic era for me. I was primarily a wedding photographer. If you've been following me for a while, I started out doing wedding photography. That was my main thing. I had like 40, 50 weddings a year that I would do. And that's what I was known for. And when the pandemic hit and the whole world went to shit, basically, all my weddings got wiped, every single one. And I remember feeling like I lost a part of my soul. I'm like, this is my whole identity. Like, I'm a wedding photographer. Like, I know they're all postponing, but I ended up losing a lot of clients because the dates that they wanted to postpone their wedding to, I wasn't available because all my other postponements were taking all the other dates. And like I ended up like half of the weddings I was able to rebook, and the other half I didn't have their dates available because everybody was pushing back into the same year, and so that, like, I had my whole year planned. I had my whole year of income planned, and it was ripped away from me. And I literally went from having one of the most successful years as a wedding photographer in the books ready to go to nothing, not a single booking because the world was shut down. And I remember feeling like my life was over. I'm like, what do I do? Like, this is the end of me. Like, what do I do? Like the world is a really scary place right now. The pandemic's like really freaking us all out. Like, what is happening? Like, the world is shutting down. Like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be doing 50 weddings this year. Like, what is happening? And that plan went to shit. and what happened that year was that I had so much time in solitude by myself. And when we were in lockdowns and we weren't allowed to leave the house, I was living alone at the time. And I had all this free time that I never have. Like, as a busy entrepreneur, we don't have a lot of like spare time with nothing to do. There's always something to do, emails, taxes, whatever, yada, yada. Like, there's always something that needs to be done, even if you're not working. And I literally, like, I had nothing to do for months because the world was on hold. And what I did was I took advantage of that time, and I saw it as a blessing instead of a setback. Well, I did see it as a setback, and I had a lot of cries. I cried a lot. Mourning the loss of all my weddings. I had to mourn a whole, like, that was an ego death for me, accepting that all my entire year got wiped. Like, that was a big thing for me. But after I cried it out, I was like, okay, this is kind of like a blessing in disguise. And what I did was I utilized that time instead of just sitting and moping, and I created my boudoir business. And that's where I was able to build this incredible, beautiful thing from the ground up. And I had undivided attention doing it. I was able to create all my things, create my groups, create my packages and my prices, order things for the studio, do all these different things. And having all that time to do it was why I became so successful with it, because I poured my entire heart and soul into it. I didn't have weddings on the weekend distracting me. I didn't say like, oh, I'll come back to this because I got to go edit a wedding next week. Like I had undivided attention to pour into this new business. And look what happened, right? I mean, if you've been following me, you'll know. And if you're not aware of who I am, I'm a full-time boudoir photographer now. And that's all I do. I don't do weddings anymore. I have my own studio. I'm in my third studio now. And we've won Best Photographer 5 years in a row. Like it's extremely successful. And the only reason I was able to get there was because I had that time to do it. And hindsight, now I look back at COVID and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that time was such a blessing for me. A chance that none of us are ever going to have again, where the world is shut down and you have that undivided attention to pour into something that you love without, anybody demanding things from you. Like nobody's demanding emails, nobody's demanding your photos to be sent off. Nobody was doing anything. And I just poured my heart and soul into this business, and it worked out. So back to the whole topic of the episode, I thought I wanted to be a full-time photographer or a full-time wedding photographer forever. And when that plan got wiped out, it led me to something so much better for me. I was very burnt out in that year of weddings, heading into those 50 weddings that year in 2020. I was incredibly burnt out and I didn't know. And I wasn't taking enough time for myself. I was missing out on everything in my life. I missed out on family events, friends, weddings. Like I couldn't do anything on the weekend because I was working every single weekend. And then if I wasn't working on the weekend, I was editing during the week and doing engagement shoots during the week. And I had no life, like none. It was incredibly hard to date because people want to go out on the weekend. And I'm like, sorry, like I've been booked for like 2 years in advance. Like I'm contracted. I need to go to this wedding. I can't cancel this wedding, So you gave up so much of your life as a wedding photographer. And I loved it so much. Like I love weddings. I will forever love weddings and I miss them a lot, but I don't miss having to give up my own life to do it. And it was to the point where I missed out on so many things. And I get so emotional thinking about it because it really did take me away from so many special like family moments that I was not able to be there for. And I wanted to be able to have a more flexible schedule that I could work during the week and give myself that time off on the weekend. And that's what Boudoir did for me. And I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, it was a big blessing in disguise. So whenever you think you want something better is en route. And even when the world is in a complete shutdown catastrophe, we all thought the world was ending. Like, you all know, you went through it. Like, the pandemic was the pandemic. I don't even know how to describe that freaking thing, but literally the worst case scenario ever happened. And I thought my life was over, and it led me to something so incredibly beautiful. And the quote that I posted a while back, I'm going to read it to you, and it really resonated with a lot of people. I think we're at like almost 100,000 likes or views or whatever at this point. Like it blew up on Instagram, and a lot of people were resonating with this. And it's such a beautiful way to reframe your mind when you feel like you're behind, or you compare your journey to somebody else's journey, or you think you have to be a certain place by a certain age. This is going to bring you so much peace, or at least it did for me. And I just want to share this quote with you guys. Isn't it beautiful to think that if you haven't fallen in love yet, there's still an entire honeymoon phase waiting for you? Or how about the first time you stand in a place that takes your breath away? The first time you try something completely out of your comfort zone and feel alive, or the first time you hit a goal that you once thought was impossible. Maybe it's the first time you truly feel at peace in your own skin. The first time you build a home that feels like yours. The first time you laugh so hard with new friends that you cry. The first time you take a risk on a passion project and it pays off. Or the first time you hold your published book that you've always wanted to write. You're not behind, you're exactly on time. Everything is unfolding how it's meant to, and every day holds the potential for another first. Remember that. Your story isn't even close to being finished. It's just beginning. That was kind of bizarre for me. I need like a little moment here. I haven't read this in a while. I posted this December 26th, 2024. And there's a line that I wrote in there because I wrote most of this quote myself. And the very last line of that paragraph was, maybe you hold your published book that you've always wanted to write. And I just clued in that was in there because I hadn't written my journal at that point. Like, that was back in December. And that was a cool moment for me to read that right now, because I was like, oh my God, like I wrote my book. I did it. And that stemmed from having some time off again, that it's a slower season in the winter for us as photographers, and the economy is a little slower than it usually is right now. So again, I took advantage of having time off, and I ran wild with one of my other passion projects, and the journal paid off. I mean, we hit the bestsellers list immediately, and the journal has been so incredibly well received. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I wrote a journal, 100 Days to Reconnect with Your Feminine Energy. And if you're interested, I'll link it in the show notes. But I just think that was so cool to read that line, having not looked at this quote for months. And it had that line about becoming an author, because once again, here's like a real-time example for you. Like, I was sad that we were heading into a slower season and that people were struggling financially, and with everything happening in the world right now, like, things have slowed down a little bit. And instead of thinking of that in a bad way, I'm like, no, this is great. Like, now I have time to do something else that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to write a journal. I love journaling. Journaling is a huge, very important thing in my life. And now I have my own, and that's so cool. And yeah, that was another reroute for me. That was another plan that didn't go to plan and led me to a better plan. Like, You have to let go, and you have to relinquish control, and you have to trust the universe, or trust your higher power, whatever you believe in, God, spirit, whatever you believe in, you have to trust that they always have your best interest at heart. And when something does not go to plan, it's because something else is coming in. And again, to touch on that quote, instead of sitting in lack and telling yourself, I wish I had this, I wish I had the marriage, I wish I had the person, I wish I had the family, I wish I had a big house, I wish I had a business, I wish I had a nice car. Think of it this way, like I haven't found my person yet. For me personally, I'm still single, and I haven't found that person yet. And like, that is so exciting to know that I still have a whole person out there to fall in love with. Like, I haven't met my person yet. That's so exciting. Like that's, you know, like that I get little butterflies thinking about it, and I don't even know who they are or where the hell they are right now. Like, but I get excited because I'm like, oh my God, like I still get to have that experience. Like, that's something to look forward to. Or, you know, people out there who have their person, that might be the last time they ever go through a honeymoon phase, you know, might be the last time they ever tell somebody I love you for the first time. And I still get to do that. And that's really exciting, you know. Or if you haven't bought a house yet, you still get to have that moment where like you put the sign in the ground, or like you hold the sold sign, and you get handed your first key to your first home. And it's like the most surreal feeling. I remember feeling like on top of the world when they handed me that key. Actually, funny story, my dad gave me the wrong key at first. My dad went to go pick it up for me because I was at work one day, and he gave me the wrong key. He gave me some other key, and I was all excited. I took a picture of it too. I posted it on Instagram. I was like, look at my key for my first home. And then we went to the house, and it was all recorded. And I have a video like going to open my front door for the first time, and like it's not working. And I just remembered that's a funny story. Yeah. So I got handed the wrong key, but then I got the right key. But anywho, back, little tangent there, but back to the main point. You get to have that moment still. If you haven't bought a home, you get to look forward to having somebody hopefully hand you the right key. But you still get to have that moment. You still have that moment ahead of you where you're going to sign those papers as a homeowner. And that is so freaking exciting to think about. You know, if you're trying to get pregnant, okay, and I know a lot of women out there struggle with IVF, and see all your friends, you know, starting families, and you and your partner keep trying and it's just not happening. Instead of living in lack, and lack means like when you just sit there in limbo and be like, oh, like I wish I had this, like I wish I had that, like I'm so behind in life, like blah, 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 like that's lack. So instead of sitting there in lack, think about like you haven't met your baby yet. Like you haven't met them yet. Like you still get to look forward to that. Like that's going to happen in one way or another. It's going to happen. And that is so exciting to think about. Like, here's another example. Like let's say you lost a friend. Okay. You had a big fallout. They're no longer a part of your life. They were very important to you at one point, but now, you know, they're no longer in your life. And instead of being sad about that, think, I have a new friend out there waiting to meet me, and I get to make like new memories with them. We're going to have new inside jokes. We're going to have new like like everything that you lose, like there's something waiting out there for you, you know? And looking at it from that perspective, instead of living in a constant state of not having it or not being enough or being behind in life, is so freeing, and it's so optimistic, and it's so exciting. And yeah, it's just amazing when you start to look at it that way, because, you know, even for me, when I do get in my feels about turning 32 and still don't know where my person is out there, like you're out there somewhere, like, hello, like, yeah, I don't know where you are, but you're out there somewhere. Instead of getting like upset about that, I'm so excited because like I get to meet somebody again and have all those experiences again and buy a house with them again. And like, that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. So I want to share another example too. And it's actually a conversation that came up at work one day. It was just, we were having some girl chats and we were talking about it. And someone had mentioned, like, I was with my partner for so long. We were together like 13 years and I was waiting for him to propose. And, I kept asking him, like, are you going to propose? Are you going to propose? And it never ended up happening, and then they broke up, right? And like, she was so distraught about him not doing that, and she's like, why like, I wasn't enough, like, why didn't he propose? Like, I waited so long, I waited 13 years, like, and he wouldn't do it. And I kind of told her, I'm like, look at it this way. That clearly was not the right person for you. And you should be thankful that he didn't propose, because now you have that special moment to look forward to with the right person. And her face, like, just kind of like, we had that little moment where we're like, whoa, like, like that's a cool way to think about it. And it's like, yeah, like, imagine he did finally propose after you guys have been together for 13 years. And then you broke up, now you have already had your experience of the exciting proposal, and that's the memory you're going to have of that forever, your first proposal. Or look at it this way, where thank God he didn't propose, because now when I find the right person, I get to have that experience with them, like the two of us, and that's my first time experiencing that, and that's going to be with like the right one. And I don't know, it's just a really calming way to think about things. And that's when you learn to start shifting your perspective to optimism instead of lack. And it really will help you get through pretty much anything in life. And when one door closes, you learn not to chase after things or try to hold on to people or experiences or relationships or anything, because deep down, like, this is not my timeline, this is not my story, and that's okay, because something is coming. I just don't know what yet. And I really want to send this message out to all of my women in their 30s right now, because I know a lot of my listeners are in that age range. And I want to have like a literal heart to heart with you right now, because if anybody gets it, it's me. And I understand how hard it can be to watch everybody in your life settle down, get married, and go through all the motions and feel so behind. I mean, for me, I'm the oldest grandkid on my dad's side of the family. So I was the firstborn, and I have a bunch of cousins, and pretty much every single one of them are either in a solid, serious relationship, or they're married, or they're engaged. And I'm like literally the only single one at the table at Christmas dinners, and that sucks to think about sometimes. And I'll look around and I'll be like, if anybody was supposed to hit this milestone, shouldn't it have been me? Like, I was the firstborn, And it's so easy to get wrapped up in that and compare yourself to other people or compare your journeys to somebody else's. But what I remind myself is that I needed to go through things on my own. I needed to learn and evolve and grow as a human by myself, so that when I do find the right person, I'm ready for them. And I have been putting in the work. Oh my God, have I ever been putting in the work? Like, too much almost. Like, I had like 3 therapists going at one point, and I'm like, I'm going to fix myself. Okay. Like, I'm going to figure out what is going on here. And like, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Like, cause that's just who I am. I'm the type of person, like, if I don't know something, I need to learn it, and I need to figure out how to fix it, and I need to do it. So, like I said in my last couple episodes, I've been on a deep dive with my own healing journey, and I definitely feel like I'm at a place right now where when I do meet the right person, I am definitely ready for that, because I have done the work to become the best version of myself to welcome that into my life. And sure, maybe I could have gotten into another relationship earlier on. Maybe I'd still be with them today. Maybe we would be engaged today. But you know what? The healing that came in these last couple years of just being alone, doing my thing, has been so crucial in my evolution as a person. And if I settled with the wrong person years ago and stayed in something, that was just, it felt safe, or it felt comfortable, or I didn't want to rock the boat, or I didn't want to break somebody's heart, or I didn't want to end a relationship even though I knew it had ran its course. Like, if I stayed put out of, fear, or out of my own ego, or not wanting to look behind and look like a failure because I not married by a certain age, like, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd probably be miserable. I'd probably be with somebody that I settled for, and they probably would have settled for me too, and it wasn't the right match, and we just both would have been miserable. And it's a blessing in disguise that I'm where I am right now, because the healing and the time to myself that I've had have been so beautiful and so just mesmerizing, just a metamorphosis that has been happening within me since all of this began is just exponential. And I'm so glad I didn't settle to fuel my own ego, to say like, yeah, I got married before I turned 30, or yeah, like, you know, he proposed to me because, you know, like that's what we do at this age, you know. Like, I'm so glad I followed my gut, or I let things end when they were supposed to end, and I didn't cling to things that have ran their course, because the person that is sitting here today talking to you today is a version of myself I never thought I'd be able to ever meet. I never thought she'd exist. I handle things so much better than I ever have in my life, and that's from a fuck ton of inner work, okay? Oh, shadow work to the depths of hell, okay? I have gone to the depths of hell and back to heal myself in many ways, and I'm so thankful that nothing else went to plan. So I had the opportunity to meet this version of me. And now when the right one comes along, I am ready. I feel like this podcast is all over the place. I've gone from like one topic and story to the other, but hopefully it's all making sense. I am recording this at like midnight because I get my best work done at midnight, because I'm a little creative soul and we don't like to sleep. But I just want to finish this point off with anybody out there, especially my women in their 30s, please don't stress out about feeling behind in life, because you're not. There's a reason you went through a breakup. There's a reason you went through a divorce. There's a reason you and the father of your kids split, because you needed that time to heal. You needed that time to meet yourself at a soul level. You needed that time to learn how to love your own company and be in your own presence, because that is such a blessing and such a gift that not everybody gets to have. Undivided time with yourself will really bring you to a version of you, or let you meet yourself in a way that you can't when you're busy and preoccupied with other people and other things. And it's a blessing that you are given this time right now to have a moment and sit with yourself and get to know yourself before you venture into a new chapter, because there are so many exciting things to look forward to. Another first honeymoon phase, another first I love you, another proposal. Like, there's so many things out there waiting for you, and you're never, ever gonna have this time to yourself ever again. What happens when you do meet your person? You settle down, you start a family, you buy a house together. You're never gonna have undivided attention like this, to be alone and to figure out your own thing and to get to know yourself on a soul level, and to wake up and just say, I'm just loving life, and I'm loving myself, and I'm just filling your own cup with anything, because you don't have to fill anybody else's cup right now. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And that's the stage that I'm in right now, is like, I know this might be the last time I ever have this opportunity. And I have a feeling that because I've been putting in the work, and because I am a better version of myself, when I do meet somebody, it's going to work, because I'm finally at a place in my life where I'm ready, and I've healed a lot of things that had trickled into a lot of relationships for me. So I know when the right one comes along, it's going to be good. And I'm just trying to take advantage of this time right now to myself. I'm not going out and looking for anybody. I'm not on dating apps. I'm not actively dating. I'm truly just like thoroughly enjoying this space to get to know myself and to heal and to come home to myself and embrace it while it's still here, because setbacks are a blessing in disguise. And you're not going to know that in the moment, but you'll look back one day and realize that was such a special time in your life. Just like I look back at the pandemic and I say, I am so, so grateful that the world went to shit and that I was able to have that time to build my boudoir business. And as horrible as that time was for me and how traumatic that pandemic was, I'm so grateful for it now, but I didn't know in the moment. In the moment, it felt like life was ending. So just try to remind yourself that beautiful things are en route, There's so many firsts to look forward to. And you're not behind. You needed to experience something else right now. And the universe, God, higher power knew that you needed to go through a couple more life lessons, or you needed to heal a couple more things, or you needed that time alone to be with yourself, because the work that you're putting in now is going to pay off tenfold, and you're going to be so thankful that you did. When I feel like I'm spiraling into comparison or panic, I try to come back to my practices. And for me, that's journaling and movement. So I love doing Pilates. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now. And I like yoga. I just started doing yoga. And yeah, like when I start to get really in my head, I come back to my practices. I come home to myself and I'm like, okay, like how can I look at this experience right now from a positive standpoint or an optimistic standpoint, knowing that it's happening for my greater good. And that's usually what gets me through any kind of sadness that creeps in, or anything that makes me feel like I'm behind or I'm not where I want to be. And if you don't have any practices like that reconnect you to yourself, I can help with that. I do have my journal I mentioned earlier, and it'll help you reconnect to that soft side of yourself, the side of you that is present. And that's what feminine energy is. It's just being present and open to receiving blessings as they come in. You know, how I just kind of talked to you in the last little clip there was, when I meet my person, I'm ready for it. Like I'm open and willing to receive that love now, you know, and that's the beauty of being in your feminine energy and learning how to connect with that, is being open to receiving, but being soft enough that you're not controlling the outcomes of anything. You're not chasing after people. You know that when somebody comes along, you'll welcome them in with open arms, but you're not going to chase and force somebody to stay in your life. And that's exactly what my journal is about, helping women connect to that side of themselves so they can embrace beautiful things in life and not be overthinking all the time and stuck in this, I need to do, I need to fix, I need to be, and just exist. So definitely check that out if you haven't purchased a copy. And if you have, thank you. Yeah, it's a really cool tool, and journaling for me has honestly changed my life. So that's something that really helps me when I start to spiral and get sad. So maybe that'll help you out there if you're listening to this. And so with that being said, I am going to leave you with a few journal prompts that you can use to reflect on your own journey and maybe where you're feeling stuck, or things that you need to just kind of deep dive in your own healing journey as well. So the first point is, where do I feel behind in life? And how can I reframe my thoughts about that? The second one is, what are 5 small wins that I can celebrate right now exactly as I am? And the reason I included that one was because so often we get so caught up in what we don't have, and we forget to appreciate what we do have. Especially as a business owner, we fall victim to that all the time, where you're chasing another goal, trying to hit another milestone, and you're just so goal focused, and that's all that consumes you, but you're not acknowledging the goals that you already hit. It's like you're chasing after one thing, but you've already accomplished 10 other things to be proud of. And I want you guys to sit there and be like, what are 5 things I can celebrate about myself right now? Little wins, big wins. It doesn't matter how big the win is. If it's a small win, that still counts. What are things that you've already accomplished? And if you're big into affirmations, you can finish off your journal entries with, I am exactly where I need to be right now, and everything is unfolding for me in perfect timing. And I think we're going to end this episode here. It's getting a little long, but I think this was a really important topic, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today with you guys, because I know a lot of you out there struggle with this daily. And I just want to let you know that if no one has told you lately, you're doing great and you're not behind. And the timeline that you think you should be on, or you thought you'd be on by now, maybe it was never actually yours to begin with. So keep trusting your path and your own pace and your own progress, because you're being perfectly prepared for everything that is meant for you, and you can't rush what's happening behind the scenes. So trust the journey, trust yourself, and start looking at things from an optimistic standpoint, because there are so many beautiful things en route to you right now. I'm sending you all of my love. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.